Hello, welcome to our podcast. And if you've ever thought about doing Bible journaling and you think, oh, all those videos on YouTube, they look completely perfect, don't they? The pages in the Bible, pages are really thin. Well, they are in my Bible anyway. And I want to create something that connects me with God. So I'm going to show you how I went from this sketch to this in one session, and it doesn't need to be fancy. So if you're interested in this, let's tune in and let me just share with you how you can make it more, I don't know, easier, really. I think easier to connect with God and not feel that you're having to compete with other people who seem to have it all laid out beautifully on their page. That isn't what it's all about. It's about connecting with God. So if you're into that, let's get to it. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Bev Jessup. I'm the creator of I'm the founder of Creative Sanctuary, which is a membership for Christian women who want to reconnect with God and reconnect using their creativity. So I'm going to share with you what I did this morning, and I hope that you will get something from it, really. I'm going to share what I'm doing here, but really I'm going to talk about my week this week and what God has been teaching me. So let's get to it. So today I wanted to share with you something close to my heart: wisdom, creativity, and the sacred habits that draw you and draw us closer to God. And I want to begin with a verse that's been anchoring me lately. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. So I've got this wisdom journal. I haven't got all the whole pack with me, but it's about 30 pages or so. And I took this page out. This is the first page, and it says, Day 1, the source of wisdom. Read Proverbs 9, verse 10. So I did, and then I thought, well, I'll write it down. So that's what it is. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. And then I thought to myself, well, what does insight mean? Now, I do know what insight means, but I wanted to get a dictionary definition. So it says spending time having an accurate and deep understanding of something or someone. So I thought, okay, I'm going to write that, having an accurate and deep understanding of God. And then I thought, well, that means spending time with him, doesn't it? With God, that he will influence my decisions. And I need to seek him. I need to seek his wisdom in everything, in all the practical ways. So when we look at wisdom, God wants me to understand his redemption. He wants me to understand his forgiveness. And so I wrote that on the heart there. And he wants me to apply that knowledge. There's no point having these facts in my head. I have to apply the knowledge into everyday situations, really. And how do I do that? Well, I look at Jesus. I look at wisdom is the character of Jesus, and I can ask God for having that wisdom, to get that wisdom from him. How does he see things? Seeing those situations through God's eyes and having that intimate relationship with him. So it's when he talks about fear of the Lord, fear it's not about fear like being scared. It's about that reverence. It's about being in awe, that quiet recognition of God's presence, and in those ordinary moments. So here I've used watercolor here. If you're just wondering what I'm doing here, but I'm just using watercolors. And I have a friend who's in hospital at the moment, and she's had a heart condition. So I was thinking about her, and that's why I drew a heart. And she actually had a bypass surgery last year or 2 years ago. So anyway, I had like almost like a new lease of life. And so that's why I was drawing this. I was thinking of her and I was praying for her. And it says that quiet recognition of God's presence in those ordinary moments, isn't it? It's that I want to share with you today, how I've been learning to meet with God in a very gentle, creative, everyday way. So let me tell you what I've been doing lately. Every morning I've been getting up, and I actually feel like God's been waking me up really early, like about 4 o'clock, 4:30, something ridiculous like that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do, I started off doing like Psalm 1 on Monday, Psalm 2 on Tuesday, and I can't remember what I did on Wednesday. But anyway, this was what I did on Friday, which is today. And I would just open up the Bible, read that one verse, and that's it. And then I'll ask God, what are you saying to me through this? And I'd sit with that verse, and then I'd write. And I write my ideas down. As you can see, I've written my ideas down here. Nothing long, just my thoughts, just my prayers, whatever sort of God brings to my heart. I write that down, and I sketch it, and I draw whatever image or word that comes to my heart. And I might get my watercolors out, Inktense pencils, or collage, or I might just use a pen. I might do some Zentangles and some shapes and swirls and things like that. And you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be Instagram ready, but it's mine. It's real, and it's more than anything, sort of like more than anything, it's like a conversation with God. So it's not about performance, it's about presence. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't been formally diagnosed, but I am convinced that I've got an ADHD brain. And that's probably where all that creativity comes from. It's just, just dying to get out. And I've been, I've never been really good at kind of sticking to routines. When I get the Bible out, and then I've got this sort of Bible journal. It's got very thin paper, and there's some pictures on it, and there's columns and things like that, like you can, doodle in it or paint in. And then I get distracted, and I think, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to get it, all ruined. I don't want to tear the Bible page. And I just close the book, because I think, I don't know what to do next. But I was thinking, I can do this every day. And you might be thinking that too. It's okay if you're thinking that, because forming a habit doesn't mean getting it right every time. It means coming back, and it means showing up again, because the goal isn't about consistency for the sake of consistency. It's about connection. It's about connecting with God. So I remember one morning I had to get up really early. I think that was Thursday morning, and I had a work meeting on the mainland. So I was listening to Julia Cameron's book, Writing in This World, and it really struck me how she talks about walking as part of that creative process. So after I've finished this video, I'm going to go off to do some walking, because I've had like what she calls like an artist date. I've had my artist date practically every day this week, very early in the morning. I've done my journaling pages, she calls them morning pages. I haven't done it like her, like she said, talks about doing 3 pages, just getting your consciousness out on 3 pages. I haven't done that. I do a version of it, and it's really kind of like just talking to God on paper. So I was doing that anyway. And I was thinking, it doesn't have to be big, does it? It doesn't. I just brought I remember once I bought my sketchbook. It's actually one of those concertina books, but it had like watercolor paper in it, and I bought a jar of water to the beach, and that was my artist day. And it felt really indulgent, should I be doing this? I thought, but God met me there. And we don't always need a plan. We just need to show up. So I'm wondering how many of you actually do just show up and think, I'm just going to try it. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be an artist. I just have to have that time with God. And that's what he desires so much, for you to just have that time with him. So when I do these little practices, whether it's journaling, whether it's sketching, whether it's walking, talking to God, praying, I started to realize creativity is kind of like a form of prayer, isn't it? Even writing out your to-do list can become a prayer if you let it. If you let God in to look at that to-do list and think, well, what do you want me to do, God? Have I actually got it right here? Is this really the to-do list for today? So some days I do my morning pages, just 3 pages, whatever comes out. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes my mind wanders. Sometimes, in those morning pages, I might be writing my shopping list. But often God shows up in just the scribbles. He meets us in the middle of that mess. So I just want to share with you this picture here. This is a picture that I felt was for my friend, really, and it's her heart, but it's also God's heart, because he's the creative God. So you can see the creation in the middle, and I've got it over there now, but I won't go and get it. And then you've got like you've got the roots, you've got some flowers that I draw in there, you've got the mountains. This just evolved. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And you know what? That's fine. I want you to know that it can be easy, just being with God and just thinking, oh, I'll just put that paint in here and I'll do that swirl here. It doesn't have to be perfect. And so if you're scrolling those YouTube videos and you see all these perfect Bible journaling pages with layers and colors and stunning calligraphy, and then you look at your own pages and you think, mine doesn't look like that. You're not alone, because I was thinking that as well. But I can just say, it's not about looking like everyone else's, because you have been made fearfully and wonderfully made. You've been made unique. You're not meant to be like everyone else, because you are unique. God made you the way you are for a purpose, and whatever you put on that page, that's between you and God. And then, so it's none of your business looking at others and thinking, oh no, what have I done? Should I do this on this page, or should I do that? And then you get so overwhelmed because you have so many different ideas that you just don't know where to start. And so it's not that you don't have ideas, you've got probably too many. And what I want to say is that your quiet time is your quiet time. Okay, your art is your art, and your prayers are your prayers before God. So you don't have to earn anything. You don't have to perform. You just have to be with God, be honest, and be present. So maybe this week you could try to pick just one verse. Just pick one verse. And if you are in my Creative Sanctuary, you've got lots of journals there, but you could just pick one verse. You can sit with it. You can ask God, what are you teaching me? And then write. Just listen and write. And then if an image comes to mind, sketch it. Sketch that image. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And maybe you want to go for a walk. Maybe God will, in those moments where you might be putting the laundry out or loading the washing machine, those humdrum moments, God might say something about that picture that you might add to. But you just have to be still. Let it be messy. Let it be enough. I mean, you can see that my heart there bled into the water. And I could have got into a bit of a state about that. But actually, God was saying to me that his heart bleeds into every part of us, really, if we let him. And that water, he wants to wash us clean. He wants us to be clean before, washed by the blood of the Lamb, which is Jesus. So, because, when I was thinking about this wisdom thing, and you can see that I'm going over it in a pen, because wisdom doesn't start with having it all figured out. It just starts with showing up. And that's what I hope for you, to show up for your creativity, for your faith, and for your heart. And I just want to say thank you for watching. I will leave this in the background so you can watch it as I finish it. As you can see, I'm doing a bit of Zentangles here. Can you see the Zentangles? I hope you can. And while I'm on the topic of Zentangles, Gail is saying, yeah, Cameron's way, the artist's way. Yeah, but it's what I'm saying about the Zentangles is where we've got a workshop coming up in 6 days actually. So I've left the link down in the description. And so if you are wanting to join us, make sure you join the Zentangle workshop. I'm going to just stop sharing this, and hopefully you'll be able to see. I'm going to just pause that there. So what I'd like to share with you is the Zentangle, which is here. It's only 6 days away, so depending on when you're seeing this, I've left the link down below. I've left lots of other links as well, so maybe you might want to go to my shop, and I've got lots of journals in my shop, so have a look at that. And if you're looking for a podcast, then I've left the link for the podcast as well. One of my members here last week, we had a lovely chat, and so if you haven't heard that podcast, please go and check it out, and subscribe to the channel at Creativity Released. Can't wait to see you. Take care. All the best. God bless. Bye for now.